All right, people. So it looks like Central C is having a big image problem. And before you even say it, okay, I'm not trying to hate on Central C. Everyone thinks that I'm a Central C hater. I did do a very big video about him that was very controversial. Okay, look, let's just get that out of the way right now. Okay, I did do this whole documentary about Central C. Okay, and I think a lot of people just really overlooked the fact that in this video, okay, I was actually very complimentary about Central C's career. I was very complimentary about his music. I've been a big fan of his music for a long time. What people are upset about in this video is that I kind of poked holes in his persona. I basically said that, look, he started his career making songs for girls. It didn't really go anywhere. He put on the Night Tech tracksuit. He kind of, as some people have said, he started cosplaying as a roadman, as a UK driller, and started to make drill music about the streets. And that's what blew him up. Okay, he wasn't drilling people. He was trapping, selling some drugs. He said it himself. But he really co-opted the violence, you know, the imagery behind drill music and went to the top with it. Okay, and look, people do what they got to do. All right, I made some comparisons to 6ix9ine, how 6ix9ine, he was making this horrorcore, you know, Zilla Kami type angry rap music that wasn't really going anywhere. And then when he put on the red bandana and he started rocking with the Bloods, that's when his career just went up to another level. It's a cheat code at the end of the day. Gangster rap, it works. So that wasn't disrespect. A lot of people felt like I disrespected him. I still don't feel like I was that disrespectful. I do feel like I probably pointed out some harsh truths, but I just want to, before I get into what I'm going to talk about in this video, just to cover my back a little bit, okay? I'm just going to recap, right, some of the complimentary stuff that I said about Central in this video. So this is a whole chapter of the video where I call Central C the UK GOAT. And really, he really is probably the greatest of all time rapper that we've had out of the UK. He's gone the furthest overall with it. Yeah, he didn't quite beat Tiny Temper's chart record as far as he had a higher landing single on the Billboard chart. But at the end of the day, Central C has breezed past pretty much everybody in the game in the UK. He is #1 in the UK. He's the top rapper that's ever done it. He's the most internationally recognized rapper. That's facts. And in this video, I even described him as the UK GOAT, and I basically said his Can't Rush Greatness album is one of the best UK albums that's ever dropped. All right, so let's just get this out the way so we can have some positivity for Cinch before I reveal some of the very dark things that are going on behind the scenes. After Central C dropped Doja and went viral in the US, he was finally on the path to being taken seriously by the American rap scene. And in August, while Doja was having a record-breaking run on streaming platforms, he announced that he would be doing his first headlining tour throughout the US, leaving his European tour for later. His still-loading world tour began in Chicago and concluded in LA before heading back to Europe. In September, Central C kept the momentum alive with his LA Leakers freestyle, where he would be cleverly freestyling with lyrics that decoded UK slang, translating his British roadman phrases into their American equivalents. And while his name was in everyone's mouth, Central C dropped the surprise 4-track EP No More Leaks on October the 13th, responding to hackers allegedly leaking his music, something that definitely happened and wasn't just a manufactured narrative to hype the project.
Hey, it's done. No more leaks. I don't know what creep, I shouldn't even be smiling, I don't know what creepy youths thought it was okay to try and leak my music, yeah? Try to get one up on me, try to get me down, try to take money out of my mouth. It's not happening, I'll tell you that from now. Had your fun, I let you have your fun, that's cool, but it's done. No more leaks. And you know what? It's none of the guys I'm giving the guys the benefit of the doubt. We don't rock like that. Some hackers trying to get in my shit, but I changed my password. 2-step authentication, you're not getting in my shit no more. So you lot enjoy that. 4 songs out on my Spotify right now. No more leaks, and that's that.
Some commenters called this marketing genius, and it did seem that every time he dropped, he always conveniently had a little pre-prepared narrative to go along with it. But towards the end of October, the EP's track Chapters made a brief appearance on the charts, peaking at number 69, but his other track One Up would fare significantly better, soaring to number 17. And at the end of November, Cinch would bag a whopping 4 nominations at the 2022 MOBO Awards, taking home 2 wins, beating out Dave, D-Block Yura, and of course Digga D in the award for Best Male Act, as well as winning Video of the Year for Doja. And all of this success translated into other milestones when at the start of December, Cinch became the first UK rapper to achieve 1 billion streams in 1 year. That was of course followed by Cinch's next hit, Let Go, which smashed the European and English charts, grabbing #1s in France and Portugal. But still, Cinch and his team had set their sights on the world's biggest music market, the United States. He would make more strategic moves like appearing on infamous American streamer iShowSpeed's platform, catching a viral moment as Cinch left the call after Speed got sus.
Can I ask like a personal question?
Yeah.
Like,
no, don't ask nothing stupid, bro. Don't fall off track, bro. We started this phone call.
Nah, this is me. So like, what is like the size of like your
Despite conquering the UK rap scene with ease, ever since the start, Central Cee had seemingly always had the ambitions of being the first UK rapper to break through to America. Many Brits have tried and failed to establish a genuine organic fan base in the USA. I mean, I remember as a kid traveling to the US on vacation with my family and being amazed to see copies of Dizzy Rascal's Boy in the Corner and The Streets' original pirate material in American music shops. But so look, clearly, all right, I have a deep interest in UK artists' translation into the United States, like how far they've got into the US, how big they've managed to get over there. And really, I'm giving Cench his flowers. You know, I talk about how good Sprinter was. You know, this was such a big song for him. It was just absolutely blockbuster song. He absolutely killed it with that. You know, they had a whole tape together that was massive. Top of the charts, killed it, absolutely slayed it, okay? And this all leads up into his Can't Rush Greatness moment, okay? He was on a double XL list, well, probably one of the only UK people to ever hit that. From the UK. Basically, everything was leading up to this big moment where Cench basically drops this album on everybody's head and just went absolutely crazy. The 24th of January 2025, Central Cee finally cemented his place in the history books of UK rap, releasing his debut album Can't Rush Greatness. The project truly lived up to its name. 11 years in the making, Cench certainly didn't rush, but he certainly did deliver greatness. This project, in my opinion, is probably the best UK rap album that's ever been released. And that's not just me glazing Central Cee, but the mission for this project was clearly to create a rap album that was quintessentially British and stay true to Cench's identity. Something that perfectly encapsulated British rap culture in 2025, packaged up in a way that would appeal to fans all over the world, especially in America. The album was a masterclass that saw Cee planting the flag and creating something that no British rapper had ever done before. A rap album that would cut through the cultural barrier and give the country something to be proud of and get behind. And from the first song, Cench made his intentions clear. From the very first bars, bragging how every time he touches the mic, he reaches people all over the world, from Europe to Asia, the Middle East, and Oceania. He would also So look, it's a glaze fest, all right? You can tell I'm glazing Central Cee in this video, but at the same time, in the same video, I was breaking down how he basically co-opted this gang lifestyle to go to the very top, and it worked, and he really perpetuated something that he wasn't necessarily really that much of a part of. And this video, in much more detail, it goes into the whole beef with another rapper from the UK called Digger D. He's part of this crew called CGM. You know, it's a whole gang that have issues with Central Cee. Shit, they got issues with me, man. As a CGM guy saying they're going to beat me up, all types of nonsense, okay? But look, some people were very upset about this video, okay, namely Central Cee's A&R. So we ended up having a back and forth. Central Cee's A&R furiously clapped back at me. I furiously clapped back at her, made her look like a bit of a fool. And people told me behind the scenes that she was standing on business, you know what I'm saying? She refused to even talk to anybody that was associated with me backstage at certain events. But at the end of the day, this was the back and forth, okay? This was you know, to set the scene for how everything fell apart, the big beef between me and Central Cee. But this is a little recap of that, just so you filled in. I received a pretty spicy comment from a lady, actually, a lady, funnily enough, by the name of Shawnee Caballero. Now, this person, interestingly, is the senior A&R manager at Sony Music UK Publishing. This is an executive. This is like a high-flying businesswoman, apparently, who is, you know, is a professional senior A&R. I believe she claims on her Instagram, which I'm now duly blocked from, even though I didn't share any kind of direct messages with her. She's a senior A&R. She founded her own agency, and she's even written a book called A Quick Guide to Music Royalties. And I believe this individual actually claims credit for signing Central Cee. So there's a couple articles that have been written about her, saying that she signed Central Cee to Sony Music Publishing. This is the person responsible for signing Central Cee. This is somebody that's involved in the kind of profiting and the monetizing of all the little things that Central Cee likes to say, that he likes to do, the image that he likes to push, which is quite interesting, okay? So she left me a comment underneath my hilarious 6ix9ine post, and it said, "You and all you other nerdy white boys with a weird fetish of black people and gang culture make me sick." Now, I thought this was really interesting, because initially I thought, nerdy white boy with a weird fetish of black people and gang culture. I said, are you talking about Cench? Because I was like, maybe she's talking about Central Cee, like a nerdy white boy with a weird fetish of black people and gang culture. I thought, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She could well be talking about Central Cee as somebody that's put gang culture at the very center of his music and was having basically zero success until he begun to make gang culture the central, excuse the pun, part of his music and his artistic direction. Apparently I was incorrect. Apparently I was misinformed. She said, no, I'm talking about you nerdy freak. Now, devolving into very personal attacks like this, I just thought was not very becoming of, you know, somebody that is supposed to be like an executive, a senior A&R manager at Sony Music Pub. Now, look, I get threats from gangsters and gang members all the bloody time. All right, I'm no stranger to that, okay? But for me, I was just like, I can't believe this is actually a professional person. This is actually a person that has like an office job. She's got a desk some place in the Sony offices, probably wears like a suit, maybe a tie, little like So anyway, you get the gist, all right? I went back and forth with Central C's A&R. It wasn't just that, okay? Central C popped out to diss me on his freestyle on Drake's Iceman 2 stream, okay? This is the What's Possible freestyle that was on Iceman episode 2. And in this, he had a couple of choice bars for me, okay? A lot of people are saying he's talking about you. I was like, I don't know. Is he really talking about me? Like, I don't know. You know, it was this little line. All those guys want to talk for the Live Yours gang would love to be in it. And then I was like, it could be about me. And then it was this one. It says, I don't mind if they think it's cap. It's true. I don't want to put them in the dirt. And I clicked on that on Genius, and it basically had all stuff about me. It had everything that I talked about here. And people saying, okay, this is definitely about you. And interestingly, like elsewhere in this song, he basically talks about, you know, getting arrested. Every time that I get bagged, I have to buy her a bag. He basically talks about having people killed. He says, I give green light to the gang. They'll crash. Ring the alarm, see everyone purge. You don't spare no one, even mums and dads. So he's saying he's going to get people's mums and dads killed in this song. And, you know, this really just gets at what I thought was kind of, you know, inauthentic about Central C's music. I don't think people's mums and dads are getting murdered. He says, if I give the command, I see everyone hurt. You know what I mean? Pull up to your party when everyone burst. You came in a wagon and left in a hearse. That's what he was saying. Serious hate for them boys. They boil my blood. Now, I think here he's maybe talking about his ops, talking about Digga D's crew. He says, my gang consists of loyalist thugs. You know, he basically is just, you know, saying that he says elsewhere in the song that he's the boss of the gang. He says, I got a bad bitch that will make man fall in love, then lure him. I'm trying to leave my man 6 feet under and F up his health insurance. I never wanted to be the boss, but F it, I'll play the position. We had that drop, but the young G aborted because he wasn't trained for the mission, okay? I told bro, if he see them, crash it immediately and don't wait for permission. I thought it was beef. Them boys, they're sweet. I ain't got real enemies. Okay, so he's going at his ops. Now, interestingly, when he released this song, dissing all the ops and saying that he was going to kill them, Digga D was locked up. All right, Digga D's been locked up for years. He had this whole weed charge that, you know, just was a madness. They're saying that there was packs being shipped and he was part of it, and he ended up getting a few years over that, and he's been locked up right up until now. And I'm going to talk more about what's going on with Digga D in a moment. But it seems like since this happened, okay, Central C has kind of had a few missteps. And again, I'm not doing this just to hate on the guy. I'm just spitting facts. All right, I'm just speaking facts. But if you look at his discography, his last couple of singles didn't quite do as well as maybe he would have wanted to. And again, they're still respectable numbers. They're still respectable songs, but they didn't really pop off in the way that he was hoping for, right? You got all these platinum certifications all over the world, songs hitting the charts, Doja charting. He's charting solo, man, and respect to him, man. He's achieved a lot. And, you know, it's good music. It's quality music. The stories behind it, it may be questionable, but really it seems that around here, and after he dropped Can't Rush Greatness, okay, he had this big song with 21 Savage, and that was a pretty good song, hit number 6 on the UK charts. So this one here's the UK charts, and then this one second to last is the US charts. Now he dropped this song Guilt Tripping with Sexy Red, and this was supposed to be a summer smash, but it didn't really land as he was hoping for, right? Only went 47 on the UK charts, didn't even chart in America. But this is where a lot of people get upset with my opinions about this, okay? Because he dropped this song, Which One, with Drake, all right? It hit number 4 in the UK charts, which is respectable. But again, this is a song with Drake. This is a song with Drake. Like that kind of, people saying that should have gone number 1. And it hit 23 in the US charts. And that's a very respectable position for a UK guy. But for a song with Drake, that was kind of disappointing. Even for Drake to go 23, like there was the whole drama with Nokia and Kendrick Lamar was pushing him off the charts. Kendrick Lamar was holding down number 1. He had Not Like Us. Then he had the song with SZA that was going crazy. Like this was supposed to be a moment for Drake to pop out and top the charts and let everybody know that he had a summer smash. And it didn't really land like they were hoping to. You know, it hasn't got any certifications. This was a disappointment, really, as far as what it should have been. And interestingly, it didn't even chart as high as Band for Band with Lil Baby, right? This is his top charting song in the US. It landed at number 18 on Billboard, okay? And it was number 3 in the UK. This was a hit song, okay? And the song with Drake didn't quite do what the song with Lil Baby has done. A lot of people have said Lil Baby's career is kind of stalled out, but it's still hitting higher numbers when he's linking up with him than when he's linking up with Drake. And that possibly has something to do with the fact that everybody's hating on Drake ever since the beef with Kendrick kind of went left. Everyone's been hating on Drake. Everybody's been trying to push Drake off of the charts and make Drake look like a clown. Unfortunately, it seems like Central C kind of got wrapped up in this thing. For a song with Drake that should have been a summer smash to not really hit like that was very surprising. And to deliver all due credit, the song is still on the Billboard charts. Okay, it's at number 87. It actually did rise up, because last week it was only at number 96. It was a hair away from falling off the charts. But it, you know what I'm saying, they juiced up the song, got it back to 87. People are still rocking with it, okay? But for a lot of people, that should have been a number one. These guys together on a song should have been a number one. A lot of people have said, Central C snapped in his verse, they went in. But really, if I'm completely honest, I think if Drake and Central C had dropped more of like a drill song, more of a gangster song, doing all of that, push that image, that's what's worked for you. And I think Central C has this big problem where he's popping out with these songs for girls and they're not really resonating. I wonder whether it's got in his head, he feels like, I can't really claim that gangster thing. But then he's still on that song where he's dissing me, talking about he'll put people in the dirt and kill people's mums and dads and stuff. That song was hard. I'm not going to lie. I know it's dissing me, but this was actually hard. I feel like if Drake had hopped on this one and they'd put a good hook on it and just dissed everybody, dissed Kendrick, all of that stuff, that might have been number one, number two kind of vibe. Because I think this is actually what people want to see from Sench. The girly music, like, people don't actually want to hear that from Sench. At the end of the day, look, it doesn't matter if you were actually drilling people or killing people. Okay, you're making good music and people want to hear the tough gangster UK drill type stuff from Central C. And I think he's got a real problem at the moment because he doesn't know which way to go. He wants to get away from the drill stuff because his credibility's been called into question, but that's really what got him hot. Those singing songs weren't really doing nothing for him, back in 2018, 2017. But like, abandoning the drill thing, people want to hear him on drill. I truly believe that if Drake had thrown a verse onto this What's Possible freestyle, this actually would have performed even better, because I think people are looking to hear Drake get on that tough gangster stuff. People are looking to hear Central C get on these hard, aggressive songs, and it's not really working. But behind the scenes, unfortunately, it seems like a lot of people are beginning to notice some of these problems that are going on Central C's side. It seems like a lot of the fans are beginning to notice. People are saying that there's been a drop in the quality of music that he's putting out. People are saying that he's starting to act weird. And then behind the scenes, we're learning that his team is actually crashing out and threatening YouTubers, not me, but threatening YouTubers with knives at events. So first off, let me just show you this, all right? This is in Central C subreddit, and there's really been like a shift in opinion in his subreddit. People are kind of beginning to, not appreciate what he's doing. They feel like he's maybe treating it like a business. This says, I've noticed a decline in Sench's quality of music. I've noticed from the past 2 years, Sench is not making good quality music. I also feel like Sench is treating music like a business more than being an artist. And I'm saying this being his fan. When I was listening to Which One and Guilt Trip, I felt, did he even hear these two songs before dropping it? If you were a true artist, how would you miss bad production in these songs? And also, he needs a good producer ASAP. Okay? People are saying, did you even listen to the album? Now, look, I feel like the album doesn't count. The album was fire through and through. 10 out of 10 album. I love the album. The album was lit. But the album was lit because it had a lot of those aggressive songs. Tracks like St. Patrick's, you know what I mean? Like, he's flipping, classic hip-hop lore, Cash Rules Everything Around Me, but he's putting it on the drill beat. And he's talking about, I get money, bread to the gang to buy hunting. So he doesn't say it, but we know what he's saying on that song, all right? People are strongly disagreeing. They're saying the album was great. But I think what they're noticing is that some of these songs since that album, the next steps that he's making, aren't really landing the way that he wanted to. There's another post people are really messing with, it, kind of not feeling his persona. All right, people are saying, why is Central C starting to act weird? You guys, hear me out for a second. This guy is really starting to look like a total joke and somewhat lame. Like, why is he always hanging out with these white women who are straight up awful people? Ruby Lynn, seriously? She's a known scammer and social climber just like his friend Olivia. Some of the white women he's been around are just rude and entitled, total nepotism babies who want to be seen as something more than they are, and it's making him look like a bottom feeder. What's even worse is that someone who claims to be all about black culture is constantly seen with all these white people. I thought this man was cool and genuinely cultured, but now I'm just not so sure. It's honestly just weird, and I've been a fan for years, so this shift is disappointing. And don't get me started on his Cineworld photos with those white girls. Like, most of his female fan base is black, Middle Eastern, or Asian, so why didn't he use any female models of color? It really feels like he's appropriating culture at this point. I'm starting to question whether I even want to support him anymore. One last thing, this guy's been hanging around with Lucci or whatever his name is. Something about him just feels off and I can't put my finger on it. Plus, he posted this weird picture with someone who looked like Central C holding a laughing gas can. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there was shady stuff going on behind the scenes. Anyway, no hold up. There's one more thing I got to say. Why the F is he making those white girls throw up that sign? This one. And trying to act cool. Like, what the hell? These people grew up in rich neighborhoods, lived easy, and didn't struggle a damn day. And here he is hanging out with them, making them do things like this, as if people don't get killed for throwing gang signs, especially people of color. And he's letting white women mimic it like it's some damn trend. He even got a matching tattoo of this with one of them. What the F? Seriously, who the hell does that? Okay, and this guy says, I'm going to just say this. Sench has made it completely and indefinitely. He's way past loading Sench. This guy is going deeper into Hollywood every year. You can't really depend on him for anything anymore right now. He made it out. He couldn't give two Fs what anyone else thinks. If he thinks it looks cool or good, he'll do it. Also, his manager YB controls his PR. So maybe question yourself and think, is Sench even doing this because he wants to, or to put on an act for social media and the press to gain popularity? It's Hollywood and everything's fake. And people say he used to have not real life in his bio before he really blew up. But yeah, that man lost all his morals. He's filthy rich now and just in full ego mode. Plus, yeah, he's in high status now. People are agreeing. They're saying 100% every word. They're bringing his image down 100%. And just from seeing what Lucci posts, he seems to be the main one that's really enjoying the riches that Sench provides. And also, that whole Sam girl thing happened during his birthday, and none of those girls posted being with him for his birthday. And you would think they would have, with the way that they're posting being with him so much. All of a sudden, so their whole thing must be new. So it really makes it weird how they're trying to seem a part of the family with this whole fingers crossed thing, right? People are saying, yes, I've realized that. The guy seems like such a social climber. Seeing him at the H&M event with Central C was very cringe. This thing symbolizes endlessness, eternity, and limitless. All right, that's one of his songs. I'm pretty sure it's not a gang sign, but yes, it's weird how random girls that probably met Sench like a month ago are throwing them up like they know him or something. Like, bro, you just met. Most famous people will do anything to get more famous and money, considering his last PR stunt, and I'm not surprised. People are saying he's definitely not the same as he was in 2020, 2022. People change and not always for the better. Just got to make the most of it. All right. So, look, a lot of people are kind of debating and, debating and arguing and just saying, look, you're too deep. Some people aren't agreeing with it, okay? Like, it's getting deep, okay? And some people are respecting him and saying Sench made it out the hood and is undoubtedly one of the most successful artists in the world right now. He's a marketing genius. I agree with that. And if I'm being honest, he definitely doesn't care what people like you think about him. He's got a big enough fan base to have loyal fans who will support him. Plus, he's a very humble guy. People can change. You can't expect him to live the life he lived when he made songs like Loading and Day in the Life. He was as gangster as people like Digga D. But he still grew up in I think maybe that should have said he wasn't, all right? But he still grew up in the trenches, as people would say, so it gives him the right to do what he wants. Also, just because he's seen with white women and people doesn't mean that he's not showing off the other communities, or he's not showing the other communities love. His whole team and friends are from different places and are mostly of color. He's constantly seen showing the other communities love all the time, not to mention he doesn't run the marketing team for Cineworld. I'm 90% sure it's run by Nem Sinner and CEO Wads, so he would still have a say, but it's them who still run. So this is that kind of crossed fingers post that a lot of people were kind of upset about. Now look, I don't personally actually believe this really means anything too much, but the fans, the people within the Central C community, they're not feeling this. Like, they're not feeling him with all these models doing up this finger sign, whatever that, the limitless sign or whatever that means. And people just kind of think it's weird. He's got the little David Spot sticker on his face there. No doubt that's actually something that, I don't think that means anything. But people are saying this is actually his true self. Okay, they're posting that image and, they're posting him with just all these different people. I mean, this is a bit more of a diverse picture. So some of that criticism is actually unfair. But this says, as someone who's actually grown up in the hood and came from that area of life, it's so weird how he got famous off rapping about that life, but now he's got these posh things around him looking like they're throwing up some sign. It's really making him seem lame, but it's looking like that's maybe how he's always been. What happened to his old group of friends? Lucci dresses like he's Sench boyfriends, and these girls look like they all take turns on him. Okay, hey, I mean, shit. If they want to take turns on him, that's their business, right? But it says, LMFAO, I just made a post about this a few days ago. There are a bunch of people saying I was reading too much into it. Like, what? But I agree 100%. And he even made a post calling them his family. Like, wait, where are your boys who have been there with you since day one? Now he's left them for some uppity white girls, all right? He says, the way they've been posting with him, showing him off, you would think that they would have been posting for his birthday, but there was nothing. So their whole thing is new. So I don't know how they're already family to him. The whole thing just gives weird vibes. People are saying, I guess he wanted to go back to his white roots. I don't even know if I'm going to... I don't back that, but... people saying Sench chilling with Lucci and them weird girls too much, man. It's got him looking zesty. He needs to cut them weird girls. They say they're giving Get Out vibes, all right? Like, where are the 12 anti guys at? What are these two latest IG dumps? So... saying Jude Law must be embarrassed. His daughter walking around with her nips hanging out and deriding a rapper and his friends, man. But people saying that's Nepo babies for you, okay? It's like this sub is just waking up to the fact that Sench is playing a role. He's a product just like Travis Scott. Once you realize and accept that he's playing a character in his songs, it's easier to understand the sneak peeks into his real life and his obsession with petite white girls. Bro is a culture vulture. I'm not even hating when I say that because I rock with his music heavy. People saying, yeah, I'm just waking up to it and I'm pretty turned off by it, okay? People in this thread are calling it evolving or maturing to cope, but more likely than not, bro's always been this way and is just now showing it more. People are saying, yeah, facts. I think he's just maturing and Hollywood at the same time. Let's think about it. He's not going to be 30 plus dressing like a roadman. I hope not, at least. He's going to mature into his style, kids in the future possibly. Sench has reached this level of status where he's meeting higher ranked people, going into these rooms, so he's adapting to the Hollywood lifestyle now. But I do see where you're coming from. People are saying, you think they get famous out of luck? They'll do anything to control the narrative/media. They do rituals for fame and money. They all know each other for a reason. People are talking about the rituals. People are saying this is the price you pay to reach the top. Some people are defending him. They're saying he's growing up. We all do it. That's how he was. He shouldn't be there his entire life. If he stays the same, stays stagnant, then what's the point of getting out of a lifestyle that he didn't enjoy? All right, more defenses. They're saying, bro, there's a thing called evolving. Hood mentality won't take you anywhere except keep you in the hood. People saying the sign means fingers crossed for good luck. No, it means locked in, dialed in. Saying what are the white girls throwing it up? They're not locked in or dialed in. People saying, man, I'm very sad to see these changes because for me, peak Sench was from 21 to 22. My favorite song of all time is One Up. Best song ever written by far, in my opinion, but I don't perceive the same determination and devotion to the grind like old Sench used to do. I hope he returns to his glory days like One Up, straight back to it, a little bit of this, tension, bumpy road. I hope he's good and in good terms with his boys. Blessing. People are saying this new Sench hate is weird. If he just stayed the same, guarantee you a few trolls will say he's stuck in the past. Sench don't care about the hate. He beat the odds. He can retire from rap now and still be good. Okay? People saying it's not weird at all. It's debatable whether it makes him seem lame, but who gives a shiz? What's definitely weird and lame is claiming to have grown up in the hood and coming from that area of life, then following and analyzing this dude's life like TMZ or the girls on FOMOir. And smoking loud doesn't actually make you come from that life. But what is interesting is that it seems like behind the scenes, okay, despite this kind of rehabilitated image that he's got and this cult, you know, this whole new persona that he's kind of, you know, hanging out with the white girls and all that kind of stuff, really, like, look, it doesn't matter what color the people you hang out with are, but people are just feeling like this image, like he's maybe getting comfortable with his fame and he's relaxing into an image that maybe is more him. But what's weird is it seems like behind the scenes, people around him, you know, his brother, his friends, the guys from the streets, they're still towing the line. They're still behaving like the lyrics that we heard in that song where he was dissing me, talking about, yeah, you know, bro got it on him. You know, we got a slide. You go on the drill. He aborted the mission. We're going to put him 6 feet under. And I want to bring your attention to this little scandal that was going on. So this streamer called Cremo, I actually hopped on a stream with him and Billy the Goat. There are a couple of big UK streamers that are really having some motion right now. But he actually claims that he got cornered at a Drake party that he got into by Central Cee's team, and they actually pulled out a knife on him and threatened him. So let's hear Cremo's story time and hear what he had to say. And then we'll just have a little bit more of an understanding of just how kind of, you know, kind of duplicitous the Central Cee image is. Because it's like he's rehabilitating his image on one hand and going the Hollywood industry route, but it seems like his guys are still towing the line for him. And, you know, they're threatening serious violence to streamers. You know, to people that are making content around this stuff. Let's hear what Cremo had to say.
Long story short, Billy the Goat told me there's a Drake party going on, yeah? And because I trolled Central Cee a lot. I done like a fake stream with Central Cee where basically I put him in a Sprinter van and then grabbed his cock and shit. Wait, where's the clip of me saying everyone wants to know what Central Cee's bulge feels like? And then I grabbed his cock. Where is it?
He's not gonna lie, you know how much money I have?
You're gonna put money on my head?
I'll put bags on you.
Yeah?
I don't give a fuck out,
Yeah? Man got Central Cee hostage, 10 bags now. Fuck that. How much bags you put on your head? Huh? How much is this Filipino done worth, huh? How much?
50.
Bill 50. Hey, Bill 50.
He was
for
violent.
Central Cee
He was
right
violent,
now.
to be fair.
Show them the Cinecheck. See that bulge of yours? This thing's tiny. That's why Madeline left, man. This thing's like this, man. Pecker. Let me feel that again, though. Yeah? You're laughing. He likes it, so he does it Dave in the studio. Hey, Dave. Okay, did I go too far? Let me show you, yeah?
A little bit. You went a little bit too far, Cremo, with that one. I went a little bit too far.
The reason, yeah, I still went to this party is because, like, bro, I done an album reaction, right? And he literally commented on it saying, my bro, you're a bastard. So from this, we can clearly see that he found the album reaction funny, right? Guys, yes or no? Yes or no? So I'm thinking, cool, like, to a certain extent, my man understands the jokes, he understands the banter, he understands what's going on. Yes or no, man? Them. Put a W in the chat if you think that I went too far with the jokes, or L if you think, like, I deserve to get bummed by his entourage. Okay, cool.
Now, you know what's funny? Just before we go any further, I just want to point something out. Like, I always had a theory that, like, I never got any beef from Central Cee. I know he watched my stories and stuff like that on Instagram, but, like, I never really had any direct confrontation with Central Cee. And I always held it in the back of my mind that there was always a possibility that he actually liked what was going on. He liked the free promo. He liked a video about him doing 1 million views. I'm not sure, but I was told by somebody behind the scenes in the industry that when Central C was first starting his career, his manager YBs was actually overheard saying like, yo, we need to push this beef with with Digger D and CGM. We need to have Live Yours be at war with CGM. This is going to be great promo. This is going to be great marketing. And ultimately the culmination of that, okay, I don't know if that's true. That's what somebody told me in the industry, but whether or not that's true, like, it kind of worked. And the consequence of that, if you're famous for having a beef with an infamous gang in the city and you become the biggest rapper, people like Trap Law Ross make videos about it. I tracked the entire beef with him and Digger D, and I went even deeper into the backstory of Digger D's, situation and the cases and the murders that had happened around him. Like, he's a serious guy, okay? So there was always a part of me that felt like, I feel like it could have been endgame for these guys. They're pushing this fake beef because Live Yours was never actually a gang. Central C got affiliated with this 12 gang, but like, I always just felt like this is actually what they wanted. They wanted to push this beef. They felt like this was going to be good for his image now that he was going the kind of roadman persona route. And I always felt like, I don't know, I feel like Central C's multi-millionaire, decade-millionaire, whatever you call it. I don't know. He's rich as hell, okay? Rich as hell. He can buy and sell my ass. But like, I always felt like really that's what they wanted. They wanted to push a beef with Digger D. They wanted to have this CGM beef. They wanted people to talk about it. And they wanted to have people like me look into it like I look into all these other gang beefs. Because at the end of the day, some people, especially the Americans, they actually appreciate what I do. And they say, well, look, you really raising awareness for what we're doing. Like, we putting all that stuff out there for people to talk about it. So I wasn't sure, but it turns out it seems like actually, despite him leaving comments on Cremo's page, joking around and saying, my bro, you bastard, like you did a funny album review of my thing. It seems like behind the scenes, him and his crew are actually threatening serious violent retaliation for people even commenting about him, which kind of it gives me a little bit of, it gives me a little pause for bumping into Central C and his team. But at the end of the day, I'm a civilian. I don't know about Cremo, but I probably would have dialed 9-1 and then been ready to hit that other one if I was in this scenario. But let's hear what happened.
Understands what's going on. Yes or no, man? Then put a W in the chat if you think that I went too far with the jokes, or L if you think like I deserve to get bummed by his entourage. Okay, cool. So I pulled up to the party, right? And then I sense some weird energy, all right? 4 people put me in a corner. And I'm thinking, am I about to get a Jamaican cock in my arse? The guy comes to me, one of the main guys. I'm gonna show you what he looks like in a sec. What? Fucking you, man, see you, man, thinking you control Cinch and that, innit? You control Cinch, yeah? But come the fuck out the party before you hold a 5 to your face. I'm thinking, in my head, I'm a fucking civilian, bro. I'm thinking 5 to my face. Is this guy gonna stroke me 5 times? Then he reaches for his pocket. On my mum's life, wallahi, I shat myself in it. So I'm 90% sure there was a flick knife there. My friend also told me he saw a knife. Do you understand? I'm thinking, bro, I bang a 180 on my mum's life. Usain Bolt. Oh, wallahi, ask Billy, yeah? I'm running. I'm trying to pop random doors open to jump in and drive off. I'm trying to pop fucking... I don't know what's going on, bro. On my mum's life, I thought I was gonna get spliffed. Billy chats more shit than me, and all Billy held was a few words. Like, man think I'm some sort of joke man out here, bro. On my mum's life, bro. These guys think I'm a joke man. You know what? Next time I go to these events, I'm gonna pay some young G's £50. Told them, yo, get your mum's kitchen knife from your drawer. Broski, we're going somewhere. You understand? Because I had enough of this shit, bro. These guys think, this little hamster, chat shit online. What I didn't understand here is like, why would you threaten to stab me, bro? I don't cause any danger, bro. You stab people that can fuck you up. Right or wrong, man? Them, right or wrong? Like if I cause you a threat, cool, pull out a knife on me, my brother. Why are you gonna threaten to stab me? What the fuck can I do to you, bro? The fuck? All the girls started laughing at me, and at this point I'm confused because like the comment literally was laughing, bro. So I'm thinking, why is this Donny trying to fucking tear out my fucking face with a knife? I don't know whether he wants some brownie points or some shit. I don't know, G. I don't know how this Live Yours thing works. Whether you get higher rankings. I don't know the bronze chain. This is like the Scouts badge.
So look, you get the gist, right? All right, there's a little bit more to it. Let's just hear what you have to say.
The next day, though, what I will say is, the next day when I went into the party, obviously Central C's little brother came up to me. He apologized about what happened. He said it should have never happened to you. This, that, that, this, that. The main reason I'm doing this is because I got humiliated in front of Leah Mai. Do you understand? Man's not a dickhead, bro. Like, that's someone I wank my cock over to on a regular basis, bro.
Oh, chill out, Cremo. All right, look, he'd be crazy, but you get the gist, all right? We're not even doing that, man. Shout out to Leah Mai. But look, even with somebody who seemingly didn't really do anything that crazy, I mean, okay, he was moving mental. Like, the way that he did that thing with the fake Central C and was grabbing on him and stuff, that was super weird. But at the end of the day, it seemed like they were good. But clearly, okay, the guys around Central C, all right, and I've never denied that the guys that he's brought around himself were serious guys, all right? They are serious guys. Those 12 guys, they were waging war. But to pull out a knife on a streamer is kind of lame. It's not just lame. I mean, it's illegal for one, but it's kind of lame, and it also just shows like a really high level of insecurity amongst that team. And when I heard this, I thought, oh yeah, they definitely not rocking with me. They're definitely not rocking with me, testing their gangster, all that kind of stuff. Okay, and I've never said none of them 12 guys are on any of that stuff. Not on any of that stuff, okay? They're serious, right? They're probably a little bit too serious. But it's stuff like this and everything that I showed you before that just has a lot of people kind of doubting on Central Cee. And from here, I want to show you a few more posts in his Reddit community to that's interesting. To just to give you some information. So this keeps happening to me, man. But Reddit post, this post actually got deleted. But a lot of people are saying, why is he doing these weird publicity stunts? And then people are in the comments, they're hating. They're saying, look, he's just desperate for fame, which he couldn't get from his last releases. I know what I said sounds harsh, but we all know Sench is very ambitious. I'll always say this: there's no shortcut to the top if you're a rapper or singer. You just need to deliver hit songs back to back, like how Lil Baby and Travis Scott used to do. Lil Baby never needed controversies to become popular, and when he was in his prime, his music gave him fame. But then people are saying it's obvious that he started music for money and fame, and I don't think he ever denied it or tried to hide it. It's probably why he feels he needs to do so much marketing. I don't think he realizes that his music can stand on its own without the media play. Okay, and people are saying he needs to hire better producers. People are saying, I think he's just switched lanes and lost a little bit of his original essence. It's unfortunate to see, but it happens to so many celebrities. Lewis Hamilton is another person like this. But people are saying, look, he's been doing them kind of stunts since the beginning. That's why it's so confusing. By now, you would have thought they finally understood that it's not what's bringing him the views or the money. Most of the time, his music did all of the talking. But there's been a rise of hate on the Central Cee sub, and people within the sub have actually noticed this, okay? People are saying, Central Cee hate. What's with the new Sench fans on the subreddit that never talk about his music and only talk about the girls he's with or the guys that he's around? People are saying, I've been a fan for a while, but honestly, he's made a drastic switch. 1 minute he's low-key, next minute, he's popping out with Nepo baby celebrities and models. Not shocking since he was a rapper, but it kind of threw me off. Hopefully, the music stays the same. People saying just the whole thing with him and his friends trying to make these girls seem like family to him is out the blue and real weird for him. I hope his music doesn't reflect that. People are saying that was random. Man's out of tour. Man's out off tour. Month later, he posted up at a trip with these random women. This was for sure planned ahead. YB's got his ass doing hella stuff, or is it just Sench being Sench? Okay, and then people are pointing out that they didn't shout him out for his birthday. They're saying because the people he stays around are a reflection of himself. If he's hanging around with these posh things that look like they're only around him to seem cool for hanging out with a rapper, then what does that make him look like? He looks lame, and his music will eventually be a reflection of it. He was saying we can talk about his music, no problem, but that'll sting even more than the criticism of his lifestyle. I don't know about that. Man. Everyone with ears can see how little passion for the craft and how little growth he's been showing. Sench reads as someone who used music as a catalyst to gain status and wealth, and now that he's closer to it, has abandoned making better music, elevating his skill set and aligning with serious artist producers. Can't Rush Greatness was a weak release, I don't agree, and the labels didn't invest any money into any other singles because there aren't any other good singles. YB should stay hiding his face because of how poorly he's managing Sench and how off the mark he's been as a manager. If he doesn't get a new team in the next 12 months, he will just be a glorified influencer doing brand deals for Ugg boots. It's that serious. No artist can release flops back to back and survive the storm. Labels won't put up with it. He was saying maybe that's why he's surrounding himself with these girls. Maybe he's trying to make his way into getting more brand deals since that's all they do. I was saying definitely. His lyrics in one of his freestyles about not wanting to be 30 and rapping, like as in knowing you're not going to have a music career before you're 30, soft launching his own fall off and trying to make it seem intentional. I'm sure the brand deals pay really well, but if anyone had the chance to make their own music and prosper from their own art versus model Ugg boots, I think they would choose the first one. Now, people are saying Can't Rush Greatness was the best release. I agree with that. The album had Limitless. Don't Know Anymore, Top Freestyle, CRG. It's so much better than 23. And I agree. It was actually, I'd call it a classic. Okay, people are defending him. They're saying he's fine. He just released an album and tour. Give him time to relax and enjoy himself and grow. He needs to live what he's hanging around these people. Then realize there's something good or bad that he can put into the music and tell us he can do all of that if you keep him in the same box. People saying this should be about his music and fashion. The rest is just a smokescreen and filler to generate hype while Sench is recovering from his world tour and making new music and giving the middle finger to the fashion elite. Okay, people saying I've just joined this sub, but is this all the sub is about? People saying what if they're actually friends? He literally dropped the Iceman freestyle in the middle of this. That's like top 5 Sench songs this year, and that was a hard song. But a lot of people are saying, look, this new Central Cee isn't hitting. We need the old Sench back. Okay, they're saying we need the old Sench back. Comparing his older projects like 23 and his newer music like that Abomination with Sexy Red is night and day. I wasn't feeling that song, to be honest. It's like he's just rapping for the money now and not for the passion, which sounds dumb. Yes, but it's the only way I can really describe it. On tracks like End of the Beginning and Khabib, it feels like he genuinely cares about the music and like he's trying to portray some message. Whereas tracks like No Introduction and Can't Rush Greatness may be pulling in numbers, but they don't feel as heartfelt or as impactful. Even something like 5 Star, which I thought was his best solo song on the album because of the references to his Mixtape Madness track, and that was really cool. That was a really cool reference that I picked up on. Just feels like some sort of cash grab aiming to farm TikTok sounds rather than be actual worthwhile tracks. I just wish we could get another project with a bit more heart and energy in it instead of these tracks just trying to go #1 on TikTok. People are saying, did it first with Ice Spice seems like the start of this putting out music with no passion behind it era. I really didn't like that song personally, right? I think he needs to refresh his team and find some people with new ideas on how to market his stuff because lately it's all just been about females. And people are saying, which one? Definitely sounds like he's sold out. He can do so much better than that Drizzy energy. Link up with Dave and Skepta more. Keep it UK drill excellence instead of becoming an American clone. And people are saying, Annie needs to stop telling us how he used to trap and be in the bando. Like, bro, we understand. You already told us 1,000 times. Rapping like that, having a whole entourage of uppity privileged females following him everywhere. He might as well start rapping about how he likes to get his nails done since I keep seeing him walking around with glossy fingernails, man. People are saying they're genuinely so tired of this stuff. Blew my mind every time I saw a release prior to going worldwide, and now it's just slop. It feels like he's making the new Doja Cat every time he comes out with these BS female singles, but it genuinely couldn't be farther off target. I don't relate to anything he says anymore, and most of it doesn't even fit a theme or tone. Not true literally, but it feels like he's sold his soul for the money. These new projects don't really evoke Central Cee's soul whatsoever. People saying, I agree, I know artists evolve, but I never would have thought 2021 Central would be moving the way he's moving in 2025. People saying, you guys are being so dramatic, like literally before Can't Rush Greatness in his tour, it was greatness. Like, what the hell you guys on? Now do agree that he does need to cut these white females showing their nips, all right? You're entitled to your opinion, but I personally think Cench is better than he's ever been. It may have to do with me being an American and first hearing about Cench when Doja blew up. I love his new music, and Can't Rush Greatness is the best project. And people are saying, and this is a really interesting comment, people are saying this is the issue. Cench is UK drill first and foremost. He can so easily take a leaf out of Dave's book and be more real and invested in the community that he came from without glamorizing the trap. Linking up with European rappers is a good move, but selling out and becoming American, sick. All right. So yeah, a lot of people are just, they're missing the old Cench, right? And this is something that's really echoed a lot in a lot of these posts and a lot of these videos, okay? They're saying they miss the old Cench, man. They miss the old days of Cench. I don't know if they miss in the old days because people weren't rocking with him in the old days, but people are saying they miss old Cench. They're not feeling the Vogue front cover Cench. I feel like he's changed so much in the past 5 years. I get he's moving up in the ranks, but I miss 2020, 2022 him, and his fashion ain't it now. It says, I feel like the group that he's moving with lately, all of them dudes look a little zesty, especially Lucci. He's been looking like Cench's boyfriend to me, and I feel like he's influencing Cench's fashion lately. I didn't expect him to stay in tracksuits his whole life, but his style is very zesty lately, and those girls he's been hanging around with have absolutely no edge to them. You know they're not going to help for the better. Okay, people saying you need to stop celebrity worshipping. He's just a character / product. He's a 27-year-old man. Why does he need to dress like he's 18? People saying 27 ain't even old. I didn't dress much differently from 18 to 27 unless it was for a work event. Sweats, hoodies, tracksuits, it's all comfortable. But everybody feels like his marketing has become more female focused. It says marketing team, just an observation. Cench's team is so clearly trying to make him relatable specifically to his female fans, like an extremely specific type of female fan. White women like Madeline. All of a sudden he listens to Billy, Clyro, and Sabrina. Not saying that he can't enjoy their music, but he's definitely trying to bring in female fans that love those stated artists so that they can ship him with them and get people buzzing. That's why he's dragging the absolute F out of Birds of a Feather, and people are now shipping him with Billy and keep mentioning her in every comment section. It's so easy to see right through it. His team is becoming way too predictable after that breakup being exposed by Mads. People saying it seems like all his team can think of is marketing. For marketing is female drama like the stuff with Ice Spice. If that's the only thing they can come up with marketing for his stuff, he definitely needs a new team, or they just need to try something new. All right, so basically, look, people are agreeing with all of that stuff. They're saying, I 100% agree with the topic. I'm glad there's dialogue about it. To be honest, the way he's over-referencing Birds of a Feather obsessively when it wasn't when it first came out, even though the album was a year old, it seems very forced. I think his team wants to shape him to be this misunderstood bad boy with a sweet, sensitive side because they're out of ideas how to make people forgive him about the Mads thing. Mads did actually eat him up alive on that, and with over 9 million followers to show for it, can't even be mad at the girl. It seems him and his team really handled that very poorly. If they were really serious about hard launching Ice Spice with Cench, they should have paid Mads off, signed an NDA, and sent her on the way with the Merc. I think she's too rich to be bought off with a Merc, but that's an interesting theory, man. YB should have freed up the budget for the Merc. But anyway, the thing is, Sench's team can make him seem like the soft lover boy, and he might even be a nice guy, but then he goes off and does embarrassing stuff like FaceTimes a notorious social climbing influencer wannabe that makes him look like the biggest simp loser in the world. Telling a girl you'd pay handsomely if she had OF, facepalm. His team and label have his analytics. They know he has a big female following, and they want to use his looks to continue creating appeal for that demographic. I'm always down for humiliation rituals, though. If Sench wants to clip Labubu's on his hip while singing Manchild, I'd support. That would be tough. All right? Literally, I was starting to be like, oh, Sench might actually be a sweetheart. And then to hear that he told that girl that, yeah, it might just be his team doing the work to make him seem that way. That girl, Def, should be saying that on a podcast. He's mentioned NDAs in a song, but it seems like he didn't get her to sign one. If she actually likes him and doesn't want clout from him, she wouldn't be mentioning all of that, especially on a podcast, okay? So again, like, this whole thing is getting out of control. Now, look, I'm not condoning this. I'm not saying this is true. I'm just reporting on the discourse around here, okay? So don't back out the flicks on me. But a lot of people have been speculating on Central Cee's Reddit forum that he might have actually started doing some of that Colombian marching powder, man. It says, as Central started doing C, is Central Cee getting on the Central Cee? And they're noticing, they're noticing rolled up notes. You know, you see there's a little, got a rolled up dollar bill there. People are saying Central Cee might actually be on the C. Okay, they're saying the notes rolled up. People saying man said started. They're saying he never stopped. I don't condone that. You know what I'm saying? I thought Central Cee just sold the C. But hey, they're saying you don't have to believe me, but I've been around Central a few times. My cousin's in the music industry, and I've had the chance to meet a lot of rappers and influencers. I have seen Central Cee buy C for women that are around and his entourage, but I never actually saw him do it himself. Been to about 4 or 5 parties, some not directly with CC, but he's been there. To be honest, he always seems very calculated and careful when he's out. So yeah, that's my opinion, okay? And so they share in all the different types of things. They're saying, oh, for sure, he can't have groupies without the C, right? Especially those girls. I'm not saying it, but this comment saying them girls, they love a bit of that. They love a bit of that C when they're in Central, man. They're saying, what are the usual signs? I'm asking. I must admit, he's starting to look super weird, but he's always sort of had a weird look about him. They're saying he got that cokey bone structure, okay? Weight loss, runny nose, and a trail of cokehead groupie friends. Rolled up dollar note in the second photo, and there's a wee baggie. All right, rolled up note in the first photo with Coke flakes around it. All right, I don't know if there's some flakes around there. I don't know if I'm seeing any flakes around it, to be honest with you. That's a little bit of a reach. We seeing any flakes around it? I don't know if I'm seeing flakes. I don't know. We're going to give Central Cee the benefit of the doubt, and we're going to assume that he's not on the C. But essentially, look, there's a couple more links I want to get to, and then I'm going to talk about Diggity, and I'm going to wrap this up, because this is a long one, but people have been waiting for ages for me to speak on Central again, and you know it's a big one, all right? People are saying, same guy, by the way, heartbroken. This is the guy that was surrounded by the goons. He had the 12 crew out, all right? 12 on the block. Way too anti, all of these guys, man. And they're saying this is the same guy that's throwing up these signs with the white things, man, with the Cee heads, you know what I'm saying? The Central Cee heads and some next Cee heads. They're saying if you saw his old snaps, you'd understand. I'm not going to read that one. That one's crazy. All right, they're saying sings about big bums and thick women and then gets with skinny, prepubescent looking YouTuber girlies, okay? Saying famous dudes be mindless bums with money and fame and just squander it all on mid-white women. A tale as old as time. People are saying, LMAO, I started to realize this man is nothing but a cultural vulture. Everyone was right about him, LMFAO. I said it a week ago. Dudes think I'm capping. He literally pays them guys from Bush to be his bad boys. I can't lie, I'm starting to believe you. And once he stops paying, he shouldn't just live the life he wants to. You'll see how they go after him, okay? They're saying, listen, they're saying you caring too much. They're saying let him live, all right? Let him live his movie, live yours, all right? Maybe this is the movie he wanted to have. They're saying everyone in West knew that he was like this. The guy had the man bun, lip and nose piercings, skipping down Shepherd's Bush and making that bubblegum music, okay? People are saying bubblegum music. I spent years defending this man to my American friends, but I'm starting to see why they don't mess with him, okay? And look, I'm not saying it, but they're saying that he's going for the mid females, all right? He's saying, what's his obsession with skinny, mediocre, whitey women? All the women he's around or goes for look the same. Skinny, no body, pretty mid-face, influencer, or in the fashion industry. They all seem to be mates too. Now, look, some of us, all right, we be liking the curvy chicks. The skinny chicks, they can run too. But they're saying he is obsessed with the skinny, mediocre, whitey women. All right. So there's nothing wrong with him having a preference, but it's definitely confusing that he doesn't rap about the women that he actually likes. People saying, yeah, he raps about liking girls that shake ass, but the girls that he chooses don't have no ass. That's my dog, but it's definitely weird. People saying basic white British male likes basic white British females. Shocker. All right. We ain't getting into the race debate, all right? But listen, you can go and do your own research on that. Someone's saying, I was at dinner for him in Miami, and it was the most shameful feeling to me. I ain't been back since. Now, look, that's probably some cap, okay? But obviously, we saw those previous comments where people are pointing the finger at his manager, YBs, and I've kind of made fun of YBs in my video. I kind of said this, the guy that's always covering up his face, even though he had a career as a rapper where he was showing his face off back in the day, not too hard to find. But some people aren't feeling it. YBs, man. They're saying people overestimate YBs. I've heard a lot of Central C fans praising YBs as a mastermind, genius manager, the main reason behind Central C's success. However, I disagree. I think YBs is overhyped as a manager. After Band for Band success, YB had told him to lock in the studio. If Central had released 2 consecutive hit songs after Band for Band, he would have had a permanent spot in the US rap industry. He missed that opportunity. He's not as famous as he thinks in the USA. I've never heard any popular media outlets like The Breakfast Club or DJ Academics talking about him. Act does talk about him. DJ Academics only talked about Central when it clearly was promo. YB should have advised him to work with popular rappers who also make good music, instead of working with rappers like Sexy Red and Ice Spice who are just popular, instead of creating fake controversies like pretending to date Ice Spice when everyone knew he was still with Mads, and recently pulling a shank on Cremo, which I explained earlier. All of these things make him look lame. A good manager would know he should give more importance to the quality of music. Now, I think this is interesting because I personally believe, actually, he needs to keep going with the gangster stuff. If he'd have popped out, if he'd have dropped a song with G Herbo, would have been a whole different story. 21 Savage song was cool. The Lil Baby song was a classic. That was an absolute banger. If that goes off in the club, I'm losing it. Okay, I'm absolutely losing it. Right, I'm ready to crash out. I might join the 12 at that point. But I think he should have linked up with more of the goons. He should have linked up with a G Herbo. You know, he should have linked up with poppin' street rappers. Hell, he maybe even should have linked up with Young Thug in the midst of all of this drama. Definitely a Central C Gunna song. If he wants to get the females, getting around the females isn't the right move. He needs to get around the tough guys that have the females. Hell, even a Central C Kevin Gates song might have done the trick. But people are basically saying YB's is fumbling the ball. Okay, he got Central the way to the top. Look, I've described this guy as a little bit of a coattail rider, okay? It's like he often seems to act like he's the mastermind behind this when really he's just attached himself to something that was a dead cert, right? And maybe it was his idea to put Sench in the Nike Tech, and if he did, hey, it's all YBs in that case. But like, you got a guy that's completely golden, okay? This guy was going straight to the top. But the unfortunate truth is a few missteps have been made recently, and we don't know whether or not that was actually something that, you know, YBs is responsible for. But in the comment, people are agreeing. They're saying, yeah, exactly. I said the same thing earlier. People hype YBs way too much. That band for band moment was perfect timing to capitalize. And instead of doubling down with 2 more hits, they went quiet. The US market was open for him right there. I've been saying this. Instead of chasing quick viral moments or fake PR stunts, he should have focused on solid collabs and a rollout strategy. 25 mil deal or not, that doesn't mean much if the management don't know how to sustain the wave. Saying bro should have went on an American feature run after Band for Band, then dropped the tape, but he let the hype die down hard. YB's a nerd. Sench could have done what he done by himself if he had an American manager, bro. They're saying he needs an American manager. People saying, "Oh God, it just seems like he tried to create another sprinter after the Band for Band thing. He could have dropped a single with Drake or another US rapper. Only did it last minute when he was trying to promote Drake's album. All right, Lil Baby and DaBaby are perfect examples of going on a feature run. It doesn't always have to be your song. Just a hard 8 bars or 16 bars, an American feature here and there, and it would have been a household name in the States, worldwide. But YB's flopped with the TikTok team." Some people are defending YBs. They're saying, "On God, man said 90% marketing and 10% talent." But let's be real. Back from 2020 to 2022, YBs wasn't slacking for real. He was moving smart with the rollouts, visuals, and international push. It's just like he lost that hunger after Sprinter Blue, and the TikTok era moves ain't hitting the same. We need that raw grind energy back. They're saying Sench needs to go on a feature run like Drake, really learn from his influences, question why Drake is still relevant after all these years, despite not even being from America either. They're different people, but could have the same agenda. Okay, I'm going to read this long comment because this does actually seem quite interesting, and then I'm going to move on. I'm going to wrap it up and talk about Digga D. Okay, so here's my take, y'all. I feel like all this TikTok stuff died down. People on TikTok have the shortest attention spans and move on quick. It's like he's still trying to play the which TikToker am I dating next angle. Like that might get some eyes for a minute, but no one actually cares after a day's passed, especially not his day ones. The way he's moving right now is lame. I don't think any American rapper would want to hop on a song with him. For American rappers, their image is everything, and no one's going to want to collab with a guy who's starting to look like a culture vulture. Like, you would never catch American rappers out here throwing up gang signs with overly privileged white people for clout. That's just corny and shows a lack of understanding. And that's the thing. Rap isn't just about making music. It's part of a bigger culture. If you're trying to break into the US rap scene, you have to understand that culture deeply. The way he acts makes it seem like he really don't. And the truth is, if you're trying to make it big in American rap, you need the support of the black audience first. That's just facts. Once black American people support a rapper, that's when the rest of the audience usually starts to follow. It's always been that way in rap because the culture started there. If you're not tapped into that, people can tell and it just won't work long term. I feel like his career is going to end up just like Jack Harlow's. Jack was on top for like 2-3 years, but his career died down because people who actually listen to rap couldn't really connect with his music. Nonsensical rap pop hits can only take you so far, and as you can already see, CC is starting to move weird, taking the route of influencer instead of a rapper now. This is a big problem because all of this dissing, Central C went so hard dissing Digga D when Digga D was in jail. He ramped it up. He was dissing him. He was saying, I get booked in LA. You only get booked in Leicester. Just hating on Digga D's. He was on that song where he's dissing me, basically talking about he hates his ops and he wants to have them killed and all of this stuff. Well, unfortunately, Digga D is just fresh home. Digga D's come out. So the biggest problem, the biggest demon, the biggest problem is back outside. Digga D, he in the studio, shirt off, shorty, looking like young boy, okay? Now, look, I won't play you too much, right? But there's a couple little teasers that have popped up out here. They're saying CGM Takeover is coming, okay? Saying bro looks like a real Rasta man, okay? Ain't no question about his character. They're saying he looks like Bite Down when his dreads are grown, right? People saying he looks like NLMB Wet 'em Up. Okay, like you got shout out to the UK drill subreddit because you guys really tapped in with that Chicago drill history. But it seems like on Digga D's very first song back, he's dissing Central C. Okay, so if you listen to this, right, you might hear some of these lyrics. So if you might not have heard it, but he said, "Who's that driving the Sprinter? Who's that putting a Rizzler?" This is an all-out diss towards Central C. This is a reference to this incident where it's Digga D bucked into Central's little bro who was driving the Sprinter van, and he basically pressed him on camera. Okay, I think this is Wads, who's part of Central C's crew. All right, and this is what he's saying. He's saying, "Who's that driving the Sprinter?" And when he's talking about who got put in a Rizzler, he's talking about one of Central C's friends that passed away. And we ain't gonna get too much into that. You can go watch the documentary. But look, this is what he's referring to.
But time, say hello to me, bro. Shake my hand, bro. Shake my hand, bro. Shake my hand, bro. Shake my hand. I want to say hello. Shake my hand. Say hello and shake my hand, bro. Look what you're doing, bro. You got people beeping. I just want to say hello. I just want to say hello. Jump out and say hello to me and shake my hand right now. Jump out and say hello to me right now. Jump out and say hello. Why you keep saying come? Jump out and say hello to me right now. Bro, say hello to me right now. Say hello, bro. Say hello, bro. Say hello, bro. Say hello, bro. Why you keep saying follow the whip, bro? Say hello, bro. Say hello, bro. I'm by myself and you're chatting, bro. I'm saying jump out and say hello to me. Bro, I want to be your friend, bro. Jump out and say hello, bro. Say hello, bro. Say hello to me, bro. Say hello to me, bro. Say hello, bro. You see what I'm saying about fucking nerves, bro? Suck your mum, I've got a CBO, bro. Suck your mum, fam. See goofballs. Why are you saying suck your mum and then rolling out the window, you? Hey, my nigga, I just want to be your friend, fam. What up? Come, wow, why are you doing all this? But I'm trying to say hello to the guy, look. You see pussies like this, bro. What?
So look, Digga D was really applying pressure, okay? And he unfortunately caught a case. He got locked up, but now he's back. He's in the studio. The first thing that we've seen him, shirt off, dissing Central C. He is on smoke. And the reason why this is such a big problem for Central C is because he's gone with this roadman persona for so many years. He pushed this beef with Digga D and CGM to try and get his career moving. He dissed Digga D relentlessly when Digga D was in jail, when he knew that the demons couldn't really do nothing about it. And now his image is kind of going a little bit left. People are saying, why are you hanging out with all these white women? You're hanging out with all these socialites and these Nepo babies. Like, why aren't you wearing the night tech anymore? Like, what happened to that? Like, was that just all character? And it's going to be tough because now the real deal is out. And you know, Digga D's outside. He is the real deal. He's got cases where he shot people. His crew have got hella bodies. I'm not condoning that, but he is the real deal. He's the real epitome of UK drill, and he's really the epitome of the consequences of UK drill. He's caught multiple cases. He was banned from making music for a period of time. But the fact that he's now out here and Central C is kind of on this Hollywood thing, I personally feel like, look, UK rap has been super dead for a minute. I feel like things are about to heat up because you know Digga D's going to pop out dissing Central C. Central C, you're going to have to respond. And you're not going to be able to respond on No Song with Ice Spice because at the end of the day, you had all the smoke for Digga D. You talking on songs how you getting people shot, get man bun for £100,000. You know, you was talking about you get booked in LA, you get booked in Leicester. He said in that song, he said, put down your flag because you're not no Crip. And that CGM gang, they rep the Crips. They rep Blue Rags. They got a whole song called Blue Woo, where they're flipping the blood Suwoo into a Crip Blue Woo thing. So he's saying, put down your flag because you're not no Crip. Well, the Crips are out and they're already dissing you. So, you know, look, is what it is, okay? I'm still a fan of Central C's music. I am actually rooting for him. I hope he keeps releasing good music. Last couple songs really ain't been it, but Digga D's now home, and I'm more excited for the Digga D song to release than a Central C song to release, okay? That just is what it is. But look, this is hip-hop. It's competitive, okay? Central wanted this rap beef, and now he's got it. So we're going to find out. We're going to see Digga D is going to release a song dissing Central C. Central C, he's going to have to respond because you wanted all the smoke when everyone was locked up. You can't go quiet and not respond now. So, look, sorry for the long video, but that's just my opinion. Central C does have a big image problem right now, and Digga D is back out on these streets. So, Central C might want to stay in the house or stay in the United States, man, because Digga definitely ain't booking no shows in LA. But, hey, is what it is. Catch you in the next video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Peace.